Okay, the question is right now a good time to buy gold? We're gonna find out. Nope. 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 Okay, there we go. Okay, so I know that if I talk to my wife about a gold purchase at this point, I must be a little bit bored because the only thing that I'm gonna get out of a conversation like that is the possibility of her talking me out of it. She just isn't going to be especially excited about any particular coin. If you want an example of somebody who sees gold as gold, it's my wife. She lacks enthusiasm for this sport. So last night when I told her that spot was at 1690 and I was on the fence on making another purchase, I might have been looking for her to talk me out of it. I don't know, but it didn't work. I ended up getting a shoulder shrug and a brand new eagle for the pile. Now, my personal boredom at the moment, it's pretty simple. There just really aren't many investments doing anything. And the spot price of gold, well, it's not doing much either. It's not running away. It's not making me feel like it's on its way to the moon. So it feels like we have time. And if you've been buying for a little while, you've been on the front of an upswing. And so you get what I'm saying. It's more exciting to be buying when prices are going up. That's just how we're wired. But it's smarter to do the opposite. You want to buy on the way down. You want to buy when prices are low. So if you're coming in right now, if you're just getting started buying gold, I feel like you're starting at a good point for a few reasons. The first is simple. Prices are going down, like I mentioned already. But another angle is that it's tough to save right now in dollars or whatever the currency is because inflation means the dollar or your currency is a depreciating asset. Now, normally, if you have the chance to save with a depreciating asset or borrow a depreciating asset, you choose to borrow it. Inflation would eat away the money that you've borrowed, so it's easier to pay back. And then in the meantime, you can get your money into something that is appreciating. Now, the rub here is that interest rates are shooting up. And if you were to look at something like real estate as a reason to borrow toward an appreciating asset, well, home values and building costs are at extreme highs. So that's just one example why fewer people are borrowing, fewer people are spending. So it's kind of a boring time overall, and you can't just throw money at the stock market or crypto or whatever and expect it to be higher in the morning like you could 2 years ago. The opposite is actually happening, and that encourages savings. Maybe not for everyone, but I know I'm still looking for the bottom in the markets before I go crazy with anything. So kind of a boring time, and I would say that that's the best time to get into gold. Now, the other part of this is the longer term impact of inflation and a pivot point that we have coming up. Now, it's safe to assume that at least some of it is entrenched. Some inflation is going to stick around. Everything has gotten more expensive, and it's highly unlikely that we're going to see things drop back down next year. If a car maker or any other manufacturer is able to raise prices now, it's very unlikely we're going to see them go back down. And that's the kind of situation that drives commodities prices. It drives them up and then it keeps them there. So you could look at gold and you could assume that it's going to drop back down to $1,500. Now, I don't know what the argument for that is, but I guess it's possible. Or you could look at global inflation levels and you could assume that gold is probably going to go up and it's going to stay up along with everything else. Either way, gold is currently looking at a 6% loss in July alone. The low for 2021 last year was 1676, and we're not too far from that right now. But earlier this year, in March, we hit $2,074 for gold. That was the new all-time high. So we are currently 15% lower than that. Now, I guess what that means is that anyone buying right now is doing a lot better than anyone who bought 4 months ago in March when we hit that high. So that pivot point, or the trigger that I mentioned earlier that could turn the price movement around for gold would be if the Fed lays off rate hikes. Now, that would cool down the dollar and then investors would hypothetically get back to gold. Now, it's hard to think that that isn't coming soon. So maybe the price continues to go down for a little while longer and we have more time to buy at these prices, but I still think that we'll see a rally rather than a drop to 1500. So this is maybe the first time in a while that I thought that we have a lot more room to go up than down. So back to the question of whether now is a good time to buy gold. I think it's a great time. We have interest rate news coming out next week, and that could send it down further again. But next week's hike will almost definitely put us at neutral for the real rate of return. And if the Fed backs off the following month in August, well, we could see that turning point for the last quarter of the year. Now, all these price targets for 2022 that have been in the $2,000 and up range, they have been assuming that we're going to see that turn in August. And I'm not one of the people making those $2,000 claims, but I think at least the turn in interest rates is pretty likely. So let's call it good there. We can keep this one short. Let us know how long that you've been buying gold. I'm curious how many people are new to it. And then while you're in the comments, be sure to hit the like button if you found any of this interesting. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on if you want to see more on the topic. And if you're still here, thank you again for watching. I always appreciate your time. Take care.